So we're gonna start in a second. I see that people are joining. So we're just gonna give 1 more minute for everybody to join. Hello, welcome everybody. We're gonna give 1 more minute for everybody to join. And we're gonna start our giant webinar very soon. I see that people are joining. So let's wait for everybody to join, another 60 seconds, and I think we can start. I see people are joining. Okay, I guess we can start since we are recording this webinar and we're going to be posting it online for everybody who are not able to join us. They can later see this webinar online, so it's no problem. In that case, let's just go straight away. Let's start with the agenda. A few words about me. My name is Jack Glowacki. I'm with Giant for almost 3 years now. I started as a strategic partnership manager, where I was in charge, responsible for contacts and acquiring new partners, strategic partners, which then implemented our technology to customers. Right now, for the last year and a half, I'm working with customers, helping them to analyze their processes, helping them to find places in their companies where automation is going to be necessary, where automation will help. So I'm experienced with processes, with companies, with structures, etc. So today I will try to tell you a little bit more about how we can analyze the processes, how we can identify the processes, what kind of processes can be automated using our technology, and exactly step by step what we can do to automate our business. So let's ask the first question, where can we implement automation? Basically, our robots can do exactly everything as humans with any kind of software. So basically, the answer to this question is that we can implement automation almost everywhere. Everywhere where we have software processes, everywhere where we have computerized processes, where we have some actions to do which are repetitive, and they are done on the machine, on the virtual environment, we can automate those processes. As long as they are on Windows environment, we can automate them. We can automate any kind of browser, like for example Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, Firefox, etc. Or we can automate any kind of software. So basically, the answer to this question is that we can implement automation almost in any industry and any company, as long as they have repetitive tasks which they need to have automated. And examples of industries which we have right now in our portfolio are, for example, healthcare, finance, banking, manufacturing, real estate, government and local government, and many, many more. So basically, any kind of industry is actually a good candidate for automation. Let's go further. This is going into the structure of organizations, because basically we have similar departments and similar structure in different organizations all over the world, and we can have like a one general logic regarding this company. So basically, we have departments in companies, and those departments always use some kind of software systems, and we have to create, usually the employee has to actually work with the system just to put some information into the system and then generate some kind of report from the system. So this is a perfect situation for our robots, and we have many processes in departments like HR, accounting, sales, or production, where we can have at least part of the process or even the whole process automated. So we have systems like, for example, an ERP system or a CRM system. We can automate those systems, for example, so they can be filled automatically by our robots, instead of making our employees waste time and spending these hours just inputting this information. So the employee can just work with the generated report from the robot. So basically, we can automate a CRM system, we can automate an ERP system, we can automate, for example, email like Gmail, or we can automate, for example, spreadsheets like Excel, or any kind of other systems also can be automated using our solution. Okay, so the most important thing when we are creating an automation is basically identifying the processes. So what we usually do is we try to ask the customer where they have the biggest amount of work. Where is the which department has the most work, and they are complaining the most. Usually, it's that the department which is complaining the most about how much work they have. That's the place where we can implement automation, and we have standard processes which we can describe in almost every company. So that helps us a lot, knowing from the top, where we can probably assume that in this department, for example in HR, we can have like this kind of processes, and in accounting we can have other kind of processes. Basically, the most important thing is to finding the correct place to implement automation. Usually it's a place where with the most workload. For example, generating invoices. Sometimes in accounting, on one person is only the only work which they are doing is just generating invoices all day. This is a process which can be completely 100% automated using our solution, and this person can focus on the higher level activities instead of just focusing on putting information into the software. So this is exactly what I said before. Some of the examples of processes which we can automate using our solution. Invoice generation, as I said before, and I would like to skip that for a second because we have a really good example at the end of our presentation. We're going to have case studies, and we're going to talk a little bit more about invoice generation. So I would like to go to payroll. Uh, Payroll is a perfect example of a process which we can automate using Giant solution, because payroll is something which is in every company. It doesn't matter if you have 5 employees or you have 5,000 employees. You have to pay their salaries. You have to make sure that those salaries are in the correct amount, that they're paid on time, without any mistakes. So this is a very, very important process. And of course, it's not a big problem if you have 5 employees, but it's a way bigger problem when you have 100 employees or 200 employees, and you have to calculate all the vacation days, all the sick days, and this has to be very precise, and it has to be without any mistakes. So payroll is a great example, especially in mid-sized and larger companies, of a process which can be fully automated. The robots can just take all the information from all other systems, put them into one system, make the calculation, generate the report, and just send it to accounting just to make the transfers. So this is a great example of a process which can be automated using Giant. The another process is data scraping. This is a general term, data scraping, but basically many companies work in the way that their employees have to go and check information every day. For example, the stock exchange, right? So they have to go and they have to check the stock's value every day, and they have to compare it to the day before. So this is a good example of something which can be done totally, completely by the robots. A robot can go, for example, every day at 7 a.m. we can program the robot to go to websites and check all the information regarding stocks, and just generate a report for the employee. When the employee shows up at work, the robot just gives him a full report what changed from the day before. So this is a perfect example. But we can also use this in different industries, like real estate. One of our customers has like a real estate agency, and one of his employees had to go every day and check for new offers which are on the market, compare those offers with the existing offers which they have, and also attach those offers to existing customers which they have. So basically, this is also a good example. The employee has had to go every day and check the same 5 or 6 websites in order to get this information, and our robots can do that without any problem. They can even visit way more websites. They can visit 100 websites if we tell them to do that, and basically they can generate a report for this employee, and he doesn't have to spend all this time just mindlessly checking this information. So it's also a very good example of what we can do with our machines. um, and lead generation, I would also like to talk a little bit more at the very end, because we have a very, very nice example at the very end, waiting for for the end. And right now, before I go to the next slide, I would like to tell you that you can ask questions anytime you want. You can ask questions in our chat. We have a chat here, so if you have any kind of questions, maybe you have a process which you are thinking if it can be automated, please go ahead and ask a question in the chat. We also have help from our developer, Casper, here today. He's with us and he can also answer your technical questions. If you have more complicated technical questions, because I'm a business professional, Casper is here also to help you out with the questions. So feel free to ask a question. And also, as you can see at the top of the screen, there is a schedule a meeting button. Please feel free to use this button at any time, at any point, to schedule a meeting personally with me. If you have an idea which you would like to discuss, if you have some kind of question which you would like to ask, uh, you can ask directly personally to me. You can schedule a meeting as well. You can ask this in the chat, and we will address all the questions at the end of this webinar. So stick around, please, to the end, and we will also be giving a free giveaway at the end of this webinar for our attendees. So also please stick around to the end, and and let's go to the next slide. This is also a very important thing to remember when we are implementing automation. Many customers come to us with examples of very long, huge, extended processes which they want to automate. They want to start already with something complicated, and what we usually do as Giant, we usually offer them to this business analysis. Basically, what we offer is basically that we go to the company and we try to help them identify the real problems which they have right now, because many times the companies, our customers, want to automate complex and very complicated processes, but they don't see that, for example, they have a lot of processes right now in their organization which can be made way more efficient by using automation. So usually what we do is we try to start small. For example, if a document comes to an email with some information, and an employee has to take this information and put it into the system, this is a part of the process which we can completely automate. This can be automated, and sometimes there are hundreds of emails per day which come to the organization, and people have to click all this information, put this into some kind of ERP system or a CRM system. This is a perfect process to start automating, because it's simple, it's very straightforward, and we can have results very fast. We can see exactly what the robot is doing. We can see the benefits, because RPA is a very fast technology. If we have the necessary information, we can create the automation really fast, and we can make adjustments and also adjust these processes later. So our good advice for everybody is just to start small, start with the basic processes, and then expand, because we can also change the process, we can expand it, we can modify it, and we can also completely close the process if it's not relevant anymore. It's not a problem. This is a very flexible technology. So let's go to another slide. And what we need as a company, usually from the customer, is a very detailed description of the process. What we ask from the customer is a video of the process, and also a description in a text file. Why do we do this? Basically, if we have the video of the whole process, we know exactly how to program the robot, because the robot has to do exactly the same activities, the same actions as the human. So for example, if a human goes opens up an Excel, we have to know exactly where the mouse clicks, in which place of the screen, which program is going to be opened, etc., etc. So this is very important for us, but it's actually very easy for the customer to prepare, because the only thing we need is just to record the screen while we are doing the same process which we are doing every day. So we have to just go to the employee and just ask them to record the action that they are doing from the beginning to the end. For example, going to the email, downloading some kind of file from the email, taking this file and putting it to another system. We need to know exactly what step by step, where the robot has to click, where the robot has to go through each step. And using this video plus a description, we can start creating first version of the robot, first version of the automation. Very important thing for us also, before we can actually implement the robot in your company, in your organization, is that we need to have the access to the systems which you are using in your organization. So basically, if you have a special license for like, for some kind of system, we would need some kind of a demo version or some kind of access to this systems. Why? Because robots have to do actions, make some actions on this on the systems exactly like your employee. That's why we need to have this access to the virtual machine. But after we have this access to the virtual machine, we also need another thing, which is good communication, something which is very important for us, because we need to make adjustments and have this flow of information. If we have this good communication with the company, we are able to implement automation, we are able to implement our technology in just a few days, because using our solution, the programming is actually very fast. I don't want to go into much into the technical detail, but basically our solution, when we have the video, we have the access to the machines and all this information, we can create the automation in something like 1 or 2 days. So this is actually a very good for our customers, because we can show them very fast the results of our machines. And usually what we do next is to create the POC, demo robot. That's how we can show to the customer that we actually have a working technology, and we can deliver the results which we promised. So this robot usually is created by us for larger companies free of charge, but we also can do this for other customers as well. So after we create the demo robot, there's the implementation of the robots, and the one more important thing, which is adjustments and measurements. Is here I would like to spend some more time, because basically the beauty of RPA is that we can exactly measure the time and that robots spend on every action. We can exactly have the knowledge how much time we are saving with every robot action. So we can have this report generated for us in any way we want. It can be generated, for example, in a text file, document, or a Excel file. It can be an email. So we can have this report in any way which we want. And another thing is that RPA is basically like a living organism. So it means that environments change, and sometimes software get updates, and different things move on the screen. That means that we have to also make adjustments to the robot. But the beauty of RPA is that it's very easy to do. We can do this very easily because our technology is very open, and we can change just parts of the processes, but we can also change the whole process. We can change only some steps. We can expand. We can add different parts to the processes. We can do a lot of different things with this with our technology. So right now, I would like to go um, to our case studies. I see that there's already some discussion in our chat. Let me just have a quick look. Mm, okay. Okay, we're gonna go to the questions at the end of this presentation as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the first example of implementations which we were doing using our technology. These are actually all three examples which I'm gonna show you are from this year. So basically, it's they are fresh, and some of them are still we are still working on them, and we are still improving and implementing these automations. So the first company is company actually from Denmark, but with a big manufacturing facility in Poland with over 4,000 employees. Basically, the problem is that is in the accounting department. Employees were manually putting information into systems and generating invoices. This is something which I mentioned already before. This process took up to 4 hours per day, and to make matters worse, it had to be done after regular working hours. So all the systems were already closed, and we could generate the information from those systems. So basically, the solution from our side was basically to create a robot to start working at a specific time to gather all the necessary information. generate invoices, as well as checking for errors in those invoices and sending the invoices to the customer. So basically, not only that we solved this problem, that we created this automation which can work after hours, so the employee doesn't have to stay, nobody has to work in the nighttime, for example, from now on, but also after an employee showed up at work, they had to send all those invoices to the customer, and now they don't have to, because we created also, as a part of this automation, we added this part where the robot is sending these invoices to all the parties which are interested in this. So let me show you step by step what was the process here. The robot opens the necessary systems at a specific time, which is after working hours. So this eliminates our first problem with somebody working overtime. The robot logs into the system. This is very important because our robots can actually log into systems. They can log into website accounts. They can use login and the password just like a human. They can log into different kind of software systems. So this is a very important feature of our robots, that they can just operate like human beings. So after logging into the system, a robot searches for uninvoiced shipments. um, so when she finds uninvoiced shipments, the robot fills in all information, check the dates, checks which invoice has to be sent in the first order, so it puts them in the correct order. The robot is generating the invoice. The robot is checking the invoice if it has all the necessary information, and the robot is sending an invoice to the customer. So this process eliminated completely then the need for one of the employees to stay overtime, and it eliminated mistakes. And one thing more so, which is here, which I mentioned before about measurements and adjustments. If any time we have a situation that the robot cannot fill, for example, the invoice because of some information missing, or some information in the wrong format, or any kind of mistake, we can have a report generated. So the employee, when he starts work, he has the information about the invoices which were generated and sent, but he also is getting the information about the invoices which are for some reason not finished, not sent. So they can already handle the mistakes and just focus on the higher level activities instead of focusing on the basics. So this is a very good example of a process which helped a lot and made the life easier for the whole company. So let's go to another process, another example of case studies which we did. This is also very interesting and very simple process, which can be actually adopted in not only in a public local government, but also in any other company who has a lot of databases. Because the problem is that one of the employees here in City Hall had to perform backups of all the databases in the system, which contain sensitive and very important information like tax information, real estate information, debt information, etc., regarding the people living in the territory of the city. This information is updated every day, and it's very important to perform backups and update it every day. So basically, the solution is to create an automation to check the database and perform backups. This is a very repetitive task for any human doing this, because they have to just go through lots of rows and rows of numbers and just it basically is a very not like a very high level activity. It's just like a basic level activity which doesn't give any satisfaction to the employee. That's why it's a very good idea to create an automation which can do this, because it's actually very easy for a robot to perform this kind of backup. Let me just show you what we did in terms of steps of the process. So every day, the robot opens all dedicated systems, including logging into those systems if necessary. And this is also very important, that we can schedule the robot exactly what time or in what intervals it has to start working. So if we want the robot to work every day at 7 a.m., it's gonna start working every day at 7 a.m. If we want him to start at 1 a.m., it's not a problem, because robots can work 24/7. It doesn't matter if it's night or daytime. So the robot can also do this every day. So instead of an employee going every day to those databases and checking them and creating backups, updating all this information, robot opens all of the dedicated systems, performs backups of all required information, Then robot goes to the online server and deletes the old files and replaces them with the new ones. So it's not only that they're updating the systems inside of this government, but also they're updating the systems on all of the servers. They're making copies and deleting the old ones. So they're making also room on the server. The robot even checks the trash bin on the server and deletes all backup files to make more space on the server. So even if the robot can even be more economical in the sense that they can protect your drive space. And after the job is done, the robot sends an email notification to the administrator reporting about the results of the action. This kind of databases can be, this kind of database backup can be performed in any organization who has a lot of information. It could be manufacturers, but it could be also, you know, like big sellers, etc. So this is also a very nice process which we can then transfer into different industries. So let's move on to the next and the last case study, and after that we're gonna have our Q&A section, and we will also have the free gift for attendees. So stick around for that. Exactly. This next example is a very nice example because it's a mid-sized software vendor and handling leads in the sales department. So sales department is a very particular department at any company. It's salesmen are people who are very individualistic, and they are also very often it's a confusing situation where leads show up in sales department. People are fighting over those leads. People don't know which lead is whose, and there are different kind of problems, especially if we are having a situation where we have incoming leads from different sources, like from a website, from a social media, from different ads. So then we have a situation where we can get confused. So the problem was in the sales department, there was a lot of traffic coming from the vendor's website, and customers were filling out a form requesting contact from the sales representatives. So since all the leads went into one place and notifications were only coming through email, this led to a confusion and leads getting lost. So this confusion over who was supposed to take those leads, who is supposed to handle those leads, led to situations where leads were unhandled at all. So this is a very bad situation for any sales department where they just lose customers. So basically, the solution was to create an automation to handle leads and distribute them to sales representatives equally. So let's go to the steps of the robot which we created. So our robot is activated via email trigger. So when an email shows up with a notification that there's a new registration on the website, the robot is getting activated and immediately starts working. The robot takes all the information from the online contact form, including name, phone number, all the other information. Then our robot opens up the CRM and creates a contact card inside the CRM with the name, the phone number, contact information, all this information which we as a salesman need. Uh, then the robot can assign the lead to a specific sales representative and gives all the necessary labels to the leads as well. So we know that this lead is already taken, it's already being handled by one of the sales representatives. And then the robot sends an email to the lead informing him that he will be contacted by a specific representative at a specific time. So already the first contact is being handled by the robot as well. So this is actually a very nice way to arrange all of your leads, to have some kind of order in your leads and have your to make sure that every lead which is coming to the system is going to be assigned to a representative. That there is never a situation where a lead shows up in your organization and nobody's taking responsibility for it. So basically, this is a very good way to always have the lead attached to all your salesmen as well. And we can automate different parts of the sales department as well. So this is the sales is a very nice place where we can implement our solution. And that brings me to the end the presentation part of this webinar. And as I said before, we have a free gift for our attendees. As you can see on the top, there's a button where you can schedule a meeting with me. And this meeting for attendees, this free process analysis, where we're going to go to your organization and help you find and analyze the processes, will be free of charge for the attendees of today's webinar. So please schedule a meeting with me. Please contact me if you have any questions which you don't like to ask here. Also, please schedule a meeting. The process analysis for the attendees of this webinar is going to be free of charge. So please contact me if you have any kind of question regarding automation. And now we can go to the Q&A section of our webinar. What are the most common processes that you can automate in accounts payable area? This is actually a very good question. Accounts payable are basically the type of accounts which are also which we have to organize every day, because this is amount of money which the companies owe to our company, so this is a very crucial process and it has to be done every day. It depends, of course, on your systems. In every company, this process will look a little different, but basically the whole process can be automated, because this is just updating of a database, because this robot can be just created to update the database, where they can analyze every day which accounts still need to be paid, which accounts are paid. So this all depends on what kind of system you're using, but the accounts payable can be automated as a whole. I think this process can be completely automated from the beginning to the end. The robot would just have to take information from the systems and just check which of them were already done and which of them needs to be done. And they can update the databases and they can refresh this information every day. So the whole process can be fully automated. So this is actually a good example of a process in finance which can be also automated using our solution. Very good example. So if you have any other questions, also please please ask. We're gonna give you a couple of more minutes. I see that there's no other questions, but maybe you have some. Maybe somebody is shy. Please don't be shy. Please ask any questions you might have. You can also, if you don't want to ask them here, you can also schedule a meeting. I see that somebody was writing something, but I think they decided not to. If you will have any kind of questions, please you can contact me in any way using this link at the overhead, but also you can schedule, you can send us an email or contact us via LinkedIn. All right. In that case, let me just remind you that for attendees today, everyone has the right for a free out of charge audit in their company. We can go and try to find places which we can implement automation in your organization. Let me just see if anybody is writing anything. Okay, in that case, let me thank you very much for attending. Please stay in touch if you want to to ask any question. You can send an email or contact me in any way. We will have another webinar in around 2 weeks. It's going to be dedicated for the Polish market, but also regarding automation and what we can do in any organization in automation. So also, let me invite you right away for the webinar in 2 weeks, and wish you a good day, and thank you very much for attending. Bye-bye.